There are people in your life who believe they own your mind, your emotions, and even your destiny. They walk into a room and demand attention. They manipulate, deceive, and leave a trail of destruction. But what if I told you that you have the power to flip the script? Today I will reveal 7 ways to make a narcissist squirm, to shake their foundation, to strip them of the control they think they have over you. And this is not about revenge, it's about freedom, because the greatest torture for a narcissist is your success without them. So if you have ever been gaslighted, manipulated, or drained by someone who thrives on power, stay with me. This is your breakthrough moment. A narcissist thrives on admiration and recognition, but when you stop feeding them, they begin to starve. Ignore their games and you become the master of your peace. Have you ever watched a child throw a tantrum only to stop when no one reacts? A narcissist is no different. Your silence is the loudest rejection they will ever hear. They control you by controlling your emotions. But when you stay calm, respond with wisdom, and refuse to react, you strip them of their power. A narcissist will test every limit, but when you say no more and stand firm, they realize they have no access to manipulate you anymore. They expect hostility when they lose control. But when you walk in love, peace, and confidence, it throws them into chaos because they cannot manipulate what they don't understand. Narcissists want to see you fail, but when you thrive mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, it is the ultimate torture for them. The final and most powerful way to torture a narcissist is simple. Live your life in total peace, joy, and success without them. If you have been trapped under the influence of a narcissist, today is your day of freedom. You no longer need to fight, beg, or prove your worth. You were already born victorious. So rise, walk in your power, and watch them fade into irrelevance. A narcissist thrives on admiration and recognition. Their entire identity is built on the illusion of superiority, the need to be seen, praised, and validated. They carefully craft an image of power and perfection, but beneath that mask lies an insatiable hunger for attention. Without it, they begin to wither. The truth is, the worst thing you can do to a narcissist is to deny them the fuel they crave. They live off reactions, whether positive or negative. If they can't have your admiration, they will settle for your anger, your frustration, your tears, because any attention, even bad attention, keeps them at the center of your world. The moment you stop feeding that need, you begin to reclaim your power. Imagine a fire that has been burning uncontrollably for years. It has consumed everything in its path, your peace, your confidence, your joy. Now imagine suddenly cutting off its oxygen supply. What happens? The flames die down, struggling for survival, until eventually they are reduced to nothing but ashes. This is what happens when you refuse to feed a narcissist's ego. Ashes at what you put to. The more you disengage, the weaker their influence becomes. But this is not easy, because the narcissist has studied you. They know your triggers. They know how to push your buttons to elicit a response. If they can provoke you, they know they still have control. So they will test you. They will insult you, guilt trip you, gaslight you, and even play the victim. Anything to get a reaction. They might say things like, "You've changed," or "You don't care about me anymore." They will accuse you of being cold, distant, or selfish. But the truth is, what they are really saying is, "Why won't you feed me anymore?" They are starving for attention, and your silence is suffocating them. At first, they will intensify their tactics, trying to regain their grip on you. If you used to argue back, they will push harder to get you to react. If they could always guilt you into staying in their toxic cycle, they will manipulate more aggressively. But this is where your strength must prevail. When they see that you are no longer providing them with what they need, something shifts. The game they once controlled is no longer in their hands. They become frustrated, confused, and desperate. They may try to seek out new sources of attention, turning to other people who will feed their ego, but deep down, they will feel a sense of loss. By starving them of attention, you force them to face themselves, and that is their worst nightmare. Narcissists spend their lives running from self-awareness, avoiding the truth about who they really are. When no one is left to validate their false identity, they are left alone with their insecurities, their emptiness, and their inability to truly connect. The power they once had over you dissolves, and for the first time, you are free. A narcissist cannot survive without control. Their power lies in their ability to manipulate your emotions, dictate your reactions, and make you question your own reality. They craft situations where they remain in the driver's seat, steering your thoughts, actions, and even your self-worth. But what happens when you take that power away? What happens when you become emotionally untouchable? The answer is simple. They begin to unravel. They lose their grip, and nothing tortures a narcissist more than realizing they can no longer control you. The first step in mastering emotional detachment is recognizing their game. A narcissist is not interested in genuine communication or mutual understanding. They seek dominance. They thrive on conflict, feeding off your anger, frustration, and sadness. The more you react, the more power you give them. This is why they provoke, insult, and twist the truth, because they know the moment you engage, they have won. Every argument you enter, every tear you shed, every explanation you give is energy they feed on. But what if you refused to play? What if, instead of reacting, you simply observed? This is where the shift happens. When a narcissist sees that their usual tactics are no longer working, panic begins to set in. Imagine them throwing a baited hook into the water, expecting you to bite. They have always counted on your emotional reactions, your need to defend yourself, your desire to be understood. But now, the hook remains untouched. They prod, they poke, they push, all to no avail. You remain calm, composed, and unaffected. This is when they realize something terrifying. They have lost control over you. At this stage, they may try to escalate their behavior. They may test you with even more outrageous claims, false accusations, or sudden outbursts of affection to lure you back in. They might try to guilt you with statements like, "I can't believe you would treat me this way after everything I've done for you." Or they might switch to anger, saying, "You've changed. You're cold and heartless now." But what they are really saying is, "Why isn't this working anymore?" Their frustration is evident and their desperation grows. But here's the key: you must not break. Your greatest weapon is consistency. You must stand firm in your emotional control, refusing to let them dictate your inner peace. They will try to make you feel guilty. They will try to draw you back into their world of chaos. But the moment you realize that their words and actions only have power if you allow them to, you are free. Emotional detachment does not mean you don't care. It means you care more about your peace than their manipulation. It means you refuse to be a puppet in their game. It means you reclaim the right to control your own mind, your own emotions, and ultimately your own life. And nothing tortures a narcissist more than knowing they can no longer control you. A narcissist thrives on your emotions. They manipulate, provoke, and twist situations to keep you emotionally invested in their drama. Their power lies in your reactions, whether it's anger, sadness, guilt, or even love. The moment you take back emotional control, you strip them of their influence. This is why one of the most effective ways to torture a narcissist is to master your emotions. Because when they can no longer control how you feel, they lose the ability to control you altogether. A narcissist will push every button you have. They will create chaos, distort reality, and even blame you for their wrongdoings, all to get a rise out of you. They will insult you, ignore you, praise you, then tear you down, all in a cycle designed to keep you off balance. Why? Because as long as you are emotionally reactive, they have control. If they can make you feel small, you will seek their approval. If they can make you feel guilty, you will apologize for things you didn't do. If they can make you feel angry, you will engage in an argument they orchestrated. The more you react, the more they win. But the moment you stop playing the game, the moment you stop reacting in the way they expect, they are left confused and powerless. Imagine a narcissist throwing darts at a target. Every word they say, every tactic they use is meant to hit a specific spot on that target, your emotions. If they say something cruel, they expect you to get upset. If they suddenly withdraw, they expect you to chase them. But what happens when the target disappears? What happens when they throw those darts and they hit nothing? That is when the narcissist begins to panic. They have spent their entire life perfecting the art of manipulation, but now none of their tricks are working. This is when they start to spiral. They will escalate their behavior, trying harder than ever to provoke you. They may bring up past mistakes, use people against you, or act like they don't care. Anything to get a reaction. But when you remain emotionally steady, when you refuse to let them dictate how you feel, their frustration begins to grow. Suddenly, they are the ones feeling powerless. Taking back emotional control doesn't mean you suppress your emotions. It means you control where you invest them. It means you refuse to let a narcissist dictate your happiness, peace, or self-worth. It means you decide how you respond rather than letting them manipulate your state of mind. This is what a narcissist fears the most. Someone they can no longer control. Because once you gain emotional mastery, you become untouchable. They can no longer feed off your pain. They can no longer disrupt your peace. And that, more than anything, is what tortures them the most. A narcissist despises boundaries. They thrive in environments where they can move without restriction, crossing emotional, mental, and even physical lines without consequence. To them, control is everything. And the moment you establish firm boundaries, you send a clear message. You are no longer available for their manipulation. This is one of the most effective ways to torture a narcissist because it directly attacks their need for dominance. The moment they realize they can no longer violate your space, they begin to lose power over you. At first, they will test you. They will pretend they don't understand your boundaries or act as if you are being unreasonable. They may say things like, "Why are you acting like this?" Or "You've never had a problem with this before." But this is not confusion, it's manipulation. They are not used to being told no. They are not used to people standing firm against their control. And when they see that you are serious about protecting your peace, they become desperate. Boundaries expose a narcissist's weakness. They force the narcissist to recognize that they are not entitled to unlimited access to your emotions, time, or energy. This infuriates them because their greatest fear is losing control. To maintain their grip, they will try every trick in the book: guilt, anger, charm, and even threats. They may suddenly become affectionate, acting as if they care about your well-being, just to get you to lower your guard. If that doesn't work, they might turn to intimidation, trying to make you feel selfish or ungrateful. But this is where your strength must shine through. The key to setting boundaries with a narcissist is consistency. It is not enough to set a boundary once. You must reinforce it repeatedly. A narcissist will look for any sign of weakness, any moment where you waver, to exploit and regain control. They will try to push past your limits just to see if they can. If you give in even once, they will see it as an invitation to break your boundaries again and again. But if you stand firm, they will realize that their usual tactics no longer work. This realization is torture for them. A narcissist is used to being in charge, dictating the terms of every relationship. But when you refuse to give them the access they demand, when you make it clear that your boundaries are non-negotiable, they begin to lose their grip. Suddenly, the person they once controlled is now independent, strong, and unshaken by their manipulation. Nothing frustrates a narcissist more than being shut out. They rely on control to maintain their fragile sense of superiority. When you establish and uphold your boundaries, you are doing more than just protecting yourself. You are stripping the narcissist of the very thing they need to survive. They will fight, they will resist, but in the end, they will be left with the painful realization that they no longer have access to the person they once dominated. And that is a torture they cannot escape. A narcissist expects to be in control. They walk into every situation assuming they will dictate the narrative, manipulate emotions, and have the upper hand. Their confidence comes from predictability. They believe they know exactly how you will react, how you will respond, and how they can steer your emotions in their favor. But what happens when you flip the script? What happens when you respond in ways they never expected? Confusion sets in, frustration grows, and nothing tortures a narcissist more than losing the certainty of their control. A narcissist is like a chess player who has studied your every move. They anticipate your reactions before you even make them. They rely on your predictability to manipulate you. If they insult you, they expect anger. If they withdraw, they expect you to chase them. If they play the victim, they expect you to comfort them. Every move they make is designed to trigger a specific response. But the moment you step out of this predictable cycle, the moment you respond in a way they did not expect, the game changes. Imagine a narcissist launching an attack, waiting for you to defend yourself, only for you to remain completely unbothered. Imagine them giving you the silent treatment, expecting you to beg for their attention, only for you to enjoy the peace and silence. Imagine them trying to guilt you into doing something, only for you to politely say, "No, that doesn't work for me." Suddenly, the control they thought they had is slipping away. They are thrown off balance, left scrambling for a new way to manipulate you, but nothing is working. This is where their frustration begins to grow. They might accuse you of being different or say you're acting strange, but what they really mean is, you're not giving me the reaction I need to control you. And this realization eats at them. They thrive on chaos. But when you become emotionally stable, when you stop responding with fear, anger, or guilt, they are forced to face something they never expected: powerlessness. They will try to regain control by escalating their behavior. They may create drama out of nowhere, trying to provoke a reaction. They may turn to other people to manipulate the situation. They may even play the victim, hoping you will rush back to reassure them. But when you remain unmoved, when you refuse to re-enter their toxic cycle, they start to panic. The person they once controlled has outgrown their manipulation, and that realization is devastating to them. The beauty of flipping the script is that it requires nothing more than inner strength. You don't need to argue, explain, or prove yourself. You simply stop playing the game. When they expect tears, give them indifference. When they expect fear, give them confidence. When they expect you to fight, walk away in peace. And as they stand there confused and powerless, they will realize that the person they once controlled is gone. And that is a torture they never saw coming. A narcissist thrives on superiority. They want to believe they're above you, smarter, stronger, more successful. Their entire identity is built on the illusion that they are special, irreplaceable, and essential to your life. But there is one thing that shatters this illusion completely: your success without them. Nothing tortures a narcissist more than watching someone they once controlled rise above them, live in peace, and accomplish great things without their influence. It is the ultimate defeat. At their core, narcissists believe that they are the source of your value. They condition you to doubt yourself, to feel small, to believe that without them you will fail. They manipulate you into thinking that they are responsible for your success, your happiness, or even your survival. This is why they try to hold you back, because as long as you remain dependent on them, they remain in control. But the moment you break free and begin to thrive on your own, their entire sense of power crumbles. At first, they will pretend they don't care. They will act as if your success is meaningless to them. But deep down, they are watching. They are waiting for you to fail so they can say, "See, you needed me." But when failure never comes, when you continue to grow, to heal, to succeed without them, it eats away at them. They begin to realize that not only do you not need them, but you are always capable of greatness on your own. This realization is a nightmare for a narcissist because it contradicts everything they believe about themselves. They are no longer the powerful, irreplaceable figure they imagined. They are no longer in control of your destiny. They are no longer the reason you succeed. And as they watch you flourish, whether in your career, your relationships, your happiness, it forces them to confront the truth. They never had real power over you to begin with. But here's what makes it even worse for them. You are happy. You are free. You are no longer weighed down by their toxic energy. You are no longer trapped in their cycle of manipulation. And nothing tortures a narcissist more than seeing someone they try to break not only survive, but thrive. They may try to re-enter your life pretending to be supportive or acting as if they played a role in your success. They may spread rumors, downplay your achievements, or attempt to sabotage your progress, but it's too late. You have already risen above them. And the greatest revenge is not anger, not confrontation, not even proving them wrong. It is simply living your best life without them. There is no pain greater for a narcissist than seeing the person they once controlled become untouchable. Your success is their greatest defeat, your happiness is their greatest torment, and your freedom is the one thing they can never take away. The greatest torment for a narcissist is realizing they have no power over you. They thrive on control, manipulation, and emotional reactions, but when you refuse to engage, when you break free from their toxic cycle, they are left with nothing. By starving them of attention, setting unshakable boundaries, mastering your emotions, flipping the script, and thriving without them, you strip them of the very thing they need to survive. But the most powerful form of victory is not revenge, it is peace. The moment you reclaim your self-worth, your joy, and your freedom, you render them powerless. They will try to regain control, but their tactics will no longer work. You will no longer be their puppet. You will no longer be trapped in their web. Instead, you will rise stronger, wiser, and untouchable. And that, more than anything, is the ultimate way to torture a narcissist, by refusing to be their victim and choosing to live fully, freely, and fearlessly.